Tonight I Can Write by Pablo Neruda. The text. Tonight I can write the saddest lines. Write, for example, the night is starry and the blue stars shiver in the distance. The night wind revolves in the sky and sings. Tonight I can write the saddest lines. I loved her and sometimes she loved me too. Through nights like this one, I held her in my arms. I kissed her again and again under the endless sky. She loved me sometimes, and I loved her too. How could one not have loved her great, still eyes? Tonight I can write the saddest lines. To think that I do not have her. To feel that I have lost her. To hear the immense night, still more immense without her. And the verse falls to the soul like dew to the pasture. What does it matter that my love could not keep her? The night is starry and she is not with me. This is all. In the distance, someone is singing. In the distance, my soul is not satisfied that it has lost her. My sight tries to find her as though to bring her closer. My heart looks for her and she is not with me. The same night, whitening and the same trees, we of that time are no longer the same. I no longer love her, that's certain, but how I loved her. My voice tried to find the vein to touch her hearing. Another's, she will be another's, as she was before my kisses. Her voice, her bright body, her infinite eyes. I no longer love her, that's certain, but maybe I love her. Love is so short, forgetting is so long, because through nights like this one, I held her in my arms. My soul is not satisfied that it has lost her, though this is the last pain that she makes me suffer, and this is that I write for her. Word notes and annotations. Tonight I can write this line instantly establishes the mood of the poem. The narrator is suffering from something that has occurred recently. It establishes as incredible sense of loss early in the poem. This opening line repeats two more times, giving it the feel of terrible epiphany, the realization and recognition of great sorrow. Right, for example, the poem calls attention to itself as a poem, the entire piece as an example of sad verses. The night is starry. The figurative meaning of this word is that the nocturnal sky was as delicate crystal as a piece of glass. The tone implied here that of quietness and coldness. The same line is repeated in line 16. The night wind revolves. The night wind is rending the sky, spinning somber serenades. The night is metonymy of the birds. The night is a metonymy of the words and the rustling of trees and all the creatures of the night that flood it with noise. I loved her. Love is capricious for Neruda. It fleets away and returns darting around like the lions of a sad poem, and then ending and breaking your heart. I kissed her again and again under the endless sky. The narrator cannot help but associate everything to his lost love. Even the night sky itself is a reminder of her. She loved me sometimes and I loved her too. He truly loves her occasionally and he does not know he did not love her all the time. To feel that I have lost her, there is a great sense of destitution. She will be another's. She belonged to someone else before being kissed by him. The speaker seems to be jealous or lover here. Love is so short, forgetting is so long. One of Neruda's more famous lines, both beautiful and sad. Love always seems to go by too fast. The process of forgetting or getting over something or someone takes a great deal of time. This one, I held her in my arms. Neruda resorts to holding his beloved when he is doleful. At this point, and alluded to later as a quasi hook, it seems as though the repetition of this line means that he can no longer help himself. As such, its soothing capacity wanes, and Neruda yearns for more he cannot find. Because through nights like this one, I held her in my arms. Nights like this ones having is when he was with her, but since he was not with her, he remembers and his soul crumbles. And these the last verses that I wrote for her. The concluding line indicates that the speaker has made up his mind to erase the memory of his beloved by writing a poem for the last time. Summary of the poem. The speaker or the poet persona here says that he could write the saddest lines. He loved a girl and the girl loved him back too. But only at some times that night was like the nights in which he held her and kissed her. He loved her great still eyes, but now he does not have her, he lost her. He knew the nights were immense, but without her they seemed more immense than ever. The words of his poems fell to his soul like dew to the pasture. His love could not hold her back. He could hear someone singing somewhere, but no song could just satisfy him now. His eyes and heart seek her, but she is nowhere to be seen. The nights they lived through remained the same, though, but they themselves changed. He says he no longer loved her, but he used to love her. And how? He tried to find the vein just to hear her voice. As soon she will be another's. He no longer loves, but thinking again, maybe he still does. Their love existed for a short time, but the forgetting part is taking so long. Because nights like that night reminded him of all the time he spent with her. He ends the poem by saying that this will be the last verse he writes for her, and he will no longer be subjected to suffering due to her. Short essay type questions with answer. Question number 1. Consider Pablo Neruda as a Spanish poet with reference to his poem Tonight I Can Write. Answer. Pablo Neruda, the poet of Tonight I Can Write, belonged to the generation of 1927, a group of Spanish poets. Different people have opined differently about Neruda, but the truth is that he won the hearts of millions by virtue of his poetry. Neruda became a much greater poet than Vallejo, who deserved recognition more. Though he lacked the ability to be critical and discerning, yet he was at times quite perceptive about his country and its sports. Besides, he was always regarded as a generous man, but he also had to face a lot of derision of his critics due to his loyalty to commission. His readers still regard him as one of their most favorite poets. Question 2. Comment on the themes of Pablo Neruda's poem Tonight I Can Write. Pablo Neruda belonged to the generation of 1927, a group of Spanish poets. Throughout Tonight I Can Write, Neruda engages with themes of love, love lost, and solitude. He expresses his loneliness through poetic language and poignant images. Near the speaker also discusses change, the transformation of his relationship with her, and how he feels now. It seems to him that she will be someone else's, and that he lost her. But readers should not. It is only because of this sad state of mind that he is able to write this poem. He remembers nights like this when he held her, and now he is lost without her. Question number 3. Locate and annotate. I loved her, and sometimes she loved me too. Through nights like this one, I held her in my arms. The above lines are taken from the first stanza of the poem. The speaker illustrates an image of natural harmony. It does not seem as though he realized what it was to love until he starts writing about her. In fact, it is the idea of love that he loves more than the women, and thus he can write the saddest lines. Such sentiments immediately charmed the young people who were themselves experiencing similar emotions, and they were able to identify with Neruda and appropriate his words in their own love affairs. And this is what makes Neruda so much a poet of the common people. As poor fisherman's son who brings him his letters in the movie to Postino petulantly, movie to Postino petulantly tells him, poetry does not belong to the poet composes it. It belongs to those who need to use it, especially lovers seeking to win the beloved through words. Question 4. Locate and annotate. Though this be the last pain that she makes me suffer, and these are the last verses that I write for her. The above lines are taken from the final stanza of the poem. The speaker illustrates an image of natural harmony. Now that the poet experiences the pangs of separation, the night is shattered, and the stars seem to be shivering. The night wind revolving around the sky is whistling a sad tune. Tonight I can write the saddest line. The saddest lines are about his lost love. She is not with me, and my sight searches for her as though to go to her. My heart looks for her, and she is not with me. This is all. The poet sums up his present situation. But is this really at all? But is this really all? The poet misses her the same night, whitening the same trees. We of the time are no longer the same. She is now another's, and he tells he still misses her voice, her bright body, her infinite eyes. He might have loved her for a short time, but forgetting her has taken too long. He should, he should still searches for her. The pangs of separation still pierce his heart, and the poet vows that this is the last time he writes for her. He doesn't appear to be so sure, however, nor are we. And this lends university to tonight I can write. Short questions with answers. Question number 1. What is the predominating mood in Neruda's poem Tonight I Can Write? Answer. The opening line instantly establishes the despondent mood of the poem. The narrator is suffering from something that he has occurred recently. It establishes an incredible sense of loss early in the poem. This line repeats two more times, giving it the feel of a terrible epiphany, the realization and recognition of great sorrow. Question 2. What is the setting of the poem Tonight I Can Write? The poem takes place under the great endless sky dotted with numerous stars. The speaker, who recently lost the love of his life, is bitterly regretting the separation, and the night sky he now sat under only reminded him of the moments he spent with her. Question 3. The blue stars shiver in the distance. What is the metaphorical meaning of the line in the poem, Tonight I Can Write? The poem delineates wonderful nocturnal sky. The quoted line metaphorically depicts the speaker's love for his beloved. His love is now shattered like the night. He discovers coolness between the lover and the beloved, and this coolness is quite potent to make them shiver. He makes the warmth of union once felt. Question 4. What is oft repeated line in the poem, Tonight I Can Write? What does it cannot? Many lines in this poem are repeated. The title of the poem itself repeated three times through the poem. Then the lines like I loved her and loved me sometimes are also seen to be repeated. These repetitions put an emphasis on the feelings of the speaker and portray the state of their love while it lasted. It puts an emphasis on the melancholy and sadness the speaker is feeling. Question 5. What is a free verse? Is the poem Tonight I Can Write free verse? Explain poem Tonight I Can Write as a free verse. The poem is without rhyme or rhythm. It is a free verse written in a simple and concise language understood by all. The poem takes place under the great endless sky dotted with numerous stars. The speaker, who recently lost the love of his life, is bitterly regretting the separation. Question 6. Love is so short, forgetting is so. Explain the significance of the line. The line makes it clear that it is a love poem. This is one of Neruda's more famous lines, both beautiful and sad. Love always seems to go by too fast. The process of forgetting or getting over something or someone takes a great deal of time. Question 7. Locate and annotate the same night, whitening the same trees. The line is taken from Pablo Neruda's love poem Tonight I Can Write. This is one of Neruda's most famous lines in the poem. The poet repeats same twice to show that while they both changed, the world remained the same. Now he says that he no longer loved her as he used to. He thinks that soon she will be another's. Question 8. Locate and annotate. And this the last verses that I write for her. The line is taken from Pablo Neruda's love poem, Tonight I Can Write. This is one of Neruda's most famous lines in the poem. The poet concludes the poem with the quoted line, the poems chart a love story. From the initial infatuation to the release of passion and finally to a separation. Tonight I can write the poem, the penultimate. Tonight I can write the penultimate poem in the poetic sequence expresses the pain the speaker feels after losing his lover. The bittersweet sentiment recalls their passionate relationship and his recognition that love is so short, forgetting is so long. Question 9. Locate and annotate. She will be another's. She will be another's. The line is taken from Pablo Neruda's love poem, Tonight I Can Write. This is one of the Neruda's most famous lines in the poem. The poet seems to be jealous lover. He thinks that his beloved will be another's. He will certainly miss his beloved's voice, her bright body, her eyes, and everything. Explain the metaphorical meaning of the lines the night is shattered and the blue stars shiver in the distance. These two lines are taken from Pablo Neruda's love poem Tonight I Can Write. This is one of Neruda's most famous love poems. The night is shattered and the blue stars shiver in the distance. These lines contain metaphors for the current state of the speaker's love life. His love is now shattered, like the night, and where there was once warmth, now existed coldness between the lovers, cold enough to make him shiver. Question 11. How does the speaker express his loneliness in this poem? In this poem, Answer: the speaker says, my heart looks for her, and she she is not with me. As a result, his soul is not satisfied. He uses the imagery of nature to brood over his internal state. He writes his saddest lines on a night that is similar to the nights he spent with his lover. The images of darkness and stars shivering at a distance at a nocturnal sky suggest the poet's loneliness. Question 12. This last verse that I write for her. What do the last verse suggest here in the poem? The speaker says his heart looks for his beloved and she is not with him. As a result, his soul is not satisfied. He tries to compose this poem addressing his beloved for the last time. Here, the last verses refer to this poem. In the final two lines, the speaker is determined to erase the memory of her and so erase his pain in writing this poem. Question 13. Neruda has inspired the saddest line in Neruda's poem. What has inspired the saddest line? In Neruda's poem, Tonight I Can Write, Neruda has admitted us that the saddest lines were inspired by his relationship with two women during his student years in Santiago. The speaker in this poem says that his heart looks for his beloved and she is not with him. Well, there is the end.